Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Oh boy. Shout out to Ed. Shout out to Edwin Anderson. Um, so I checked out Ed's channel earlier today, and Ed wanted us to check out um Average Man Unplugged. Check that out. I've been subscribed to the brother for a little while now. Um, checked out his um video, and what he had was a essentially a collage of both essentially people speaking about 50-50 relationships, right? So that's what we saw today, essentially people speaking about 50-50 relationships. um you saw a man on the street interview with a couple, and they look young, white couple. um well, I said brother, white dude, young white dude, said he was pretty much broke, barely had any money in savings. Then they spoke to the young lady, and I think she said what she had, like 80,000 in savings or something crazy, some crazy number. He was shocked. And she stood on it. No, you're supposed to spend your money on me, right? He's like, I'm broke because I'm spending my money on you. And she was like, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be, right? Yeah. Welcome to America. And you better believe Mr. Z loved this conversation, because so many pretend like this is not what the women are saying. Huh? I would have added, and shout out to Average Man Unplugged, the what happened to the days when the men would provide, protect, and shut up, right? So let's go through a couple of things. First, we already know something like 75%, 77% of mothers in America work, right? So really about 25-ish% of mothers are stay-at-home mothers. And that number fluctuates, right? But it's really about 75-ish% of mothers work in America. So we know that already. We know that there's about 335 to 345 million people in America. Somewhere between 335 to 345 million people. About 161 million people work in America. So out of that 335 to about 345, on the books, something like 161 million work. That's between your business owners, that's between your employees, right? Entrepreneurs, something like 161 million people work. The top 1% in America has about 15 times the wealth, or at least control about 15 times the wealth of the median household. The top 20% control more wealth than the entire middle class. I think what they're really saying is the top 20% control everything, control more than the middle class on down, right? We already know the top 400 wealthiest people in America have more wealth than the bottom 50% of the US population, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, you heard right. 400 people have more wealth than the bottom 50% of Americans. Yes, that's the bottom out of the 345 million, right? So what would that make it? About 175-ish million people. So 400 people have the same wealth as the bottom 175-ish, 175 million people, give or take. I might be off 10 million here, 20 million there, something like, right? And we're getting to it, everyone. We're building right now. We're seasoning the food right now. Because we're getting to the women don't want to do 50-50. That's the whole point. That's what Mr. Z is getting at. That's why we're going through the numbers, right? Once again, the new median household income is about 80K a year. So I'm not going to claim that yet. I'm going to still do the less than $75,000 a year. I'll claim that 80,000 starting next year, right? So somewhere between 75 to $80,000 a year is the new median household income. That's about two people earning 40K a year to get to the 80, right? Huh. Average household income is about anywhere between 104 to 106, 104,000 to 106,000. Huh? And by the way, all the links for what Mr. Z is saying in the description box. The top 10% in America, you don't get to the top 10%, which is about 150,000, until about 45 years old. So for the most part, it's people 45 years old and older when you start getting to $150,000 a year and more. Huh? The top 25% don't tend to earn more than $100,000 until 55 years old. Huh? So if you want a top 10% person, dear ladies, you got to go 45 years old and older for the most part. Huh? Really 55 and older. For all of those women who think everybody's walking around here a rapper or a pop star or a football player, a basketball player, or some type of entertainer, some type of creative, huh? If you're dealing with somebody with any type of 9 to 5 or any type of entrepreneur, for the most part, about 40, 45 years and older before you get to $100,000+ a year, huh? Let's go through median income by age. 25 years old, 40K. 35 years old, 53,000. 25 years old, 40,000. 35 years old, 53,000. 45 years old, 55,600. 55 years old, 61,900. So 62,000 pretty much, almost 62,000. And 65 years old is 60,000. Dear ladies, that's the median income in America. Once again, half above, half below. So when you hear women like Leisha Miller or um, Kim Foster and them speaking about men not being likable, conservative men in particular not being likable, these men haven't developed a personality. It's the men that's in their particular liberal bubbles that are getting married, and they chalk it off to character flaw. No, it's the money. Because these women don't want to speak about, once again, feminism plus capitalism in the minds of women. What does it mean? Huh? If you go through that video for Average Man Unplugged, you'll hear a white man saying, how his pretty much his woman stood by him. And she was like, I'll look out financially until you get yourself on your feet. And then you hear also the women who are saying, yeah, I ain't doing 50-50. You can go through Kevin Samuels' interviews with different women, black women, when he would ask them, if a man came into your life and your life didn't necessarily improve financially, could you be with him? And just about all the women said no. Huh? If he didn't improve your life materially, what do you get? You get the very attractive black woman on that morning show that straight up said, I could do bad all by myself, or I'd rather be single. Huh? The women said, I'm not doing, God forbid you ask her to do financially 60-40. You might get attacked. But they're not doing 50-50. They would rather be single. Well, look at that birth rate and that marriage rate. Huh? Half of household income in America is between 75 and $80,000 a year. The women said, I'm not doing 50-50. They would rather take their 40 and struggle. They would rather take their 40 and stay at home with their parents all in their 20s and 30s and maybe even 40s. They would rather take their 40 and have a roommate. They would rather take their $40,000 a year and have a roommate and be getting piped on by Chisel Chin Tyrone or Chisel Chin Chad. Instead of being in a relationship with a 5'8", 5'9", 5'7" man that earns 40 also, 37,000 also, maybe even 45 also. The women said, yeah, about that. I would rather take my 40 and be single and have Chisel Chin Chad or Chisel Chin Tyrone or Chisel Chin Juan or Chisel Chin Lee come through and knock the cobwebs out on a drunk night after the club, 3 o'clock in the morning. Huh? Dear Kim Foster, those are the women that are crying in their cars. The white women, the Latina women, the black women, not so much the Asian women, but some. Those are the women who are crying in their cars. See, y'all not going all the way. You and Leisha Miller, y'all not going all the way with it. Because y'all only focused on your feminist worldview part of the conversation, not the capitalism neoliberal version of the conversation. You know how the women adopted capitalism and neoliberalism and patriarchy also? The part of the patriarchy they didn't want to let go, the money part of the patriarchy, the protector provider part of patriarchy. Huh? Once again, patriarchy by feminist specifications. What did FD Signifier tell T Noir? These women, they get their degrees, they're doing well in their career, they got the baby bins, I'm paraphrasing what FD was saying. They have the bins, they have the career, they have the house. The only thing missing is the man. And how am I supposed to tell them, hey, that's you know the type of man you saying it's either him or nothing? How am I supposed to tell them it's patriarchy that they describing? And FD Signifier looked at T Noir and T Noir looked at FD Signifier and both of them said, shoot, not me. I ain't gonna say it. They both look at each other like, not me. Exactly. Defanging the men, telling the men, oh, the problem is you haven't developed a personality. You're not likable. Ain't that right, Leisha Miller? It's not the women who have adopted not even adopted. It's not the women who want patriarchy by feminist specifications. Nope. The women don't want to go 50-50. So one of the clips in the description box, if I didn't put it already, I will be putting it. Shout out to the replay gang. I will be putting it in for the replay gang, right? I will be putting the clip in for the replay gang. Is an Asian young lady saying what we already know? Pretty much, like as I said before, the top 20% have more wealth than the entire middle class. And could anybody tell me who's the people that are more likely to get married and stay married? Uh-oh. Did you hear that, Leisha Miller? Who are the people who get married and stay married? Isn't it that same top 20, 25, 15%? Aren't they the ones that are getting married and staying married? Oh, I'm sorry, Leisha Miller. It's character flaw. It's that these men aren't likable. You know, the bottom 80% of men aren't likable. They haven't developed the personality. It has nothing to do with the money. Huh? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Joe's this is a this is a funny comment. And Joe says reinventing the wheel just to fall asleep at it. Huh? All the material. This is how Mr. Z combats all of those Leisure Millers. No, the issue is that these conservative men aren't likable. They haven't developed a personality. This is how Mr. Z responds back to Kim Foster said, you know, the increase in single cat ladies, and they're crying in their cars because it's the white women too. They're crying in their cars because they can't find husbands and men. Yes, those women are not just crying in their cars because the men are that horrible. Y'all refuse to accept that the women want patriarchy by feminist specifications. They want the 6 foot tall plus man that earns six figures, the 666. But he also is a feminist and he believes in female empowerment while he pays all the bills at the house. Or at least 80% of the bills. Right? Huh? Once again, $80,000 median household income. Anywhere between 75 and 80. And you're hearing this 50-50 conversation. The women don't want to do 50-50. Look at that divorce. Look at who's getting divorced. Look at who's getting married and look who's getting. Oh, wait a minute. The divorce rate is going down because the marriage rate for the people in the bottom 80% is going down. Well, will you look at that? Can't get divorced if you never got married. Marriage has become an elite institution for the professional managerial class. Uh-oh. Whoopsie. Hey, want to say that? Did you? Didn't want to say that, did you, Leisha Miller? Is that because maybe you occupy the professional managerial class? Whoops. Huh? I'm gonna do a whole part two to that. Mr. Z had to go digging again because I knew I watched a bunch of these clips about the professional managerial class, and I was like, wait a minute. All these creatives, all these white collar professional managerial class people don't want to admit that marriage is now an elite institution for y'all. And many of y'all are left leaning. So instead of you admitting that y'all are the ones that are getting married, because once again, professional managerial class top 20%, instead of us talking about that, we're saying the men aren't likable in the bottom 80%. Huh? Especially the blue collar men who might tend to be a bit conservative. Uh-oh. Huh? Yes, all of this ties in to that 50-50 conversation. Huh? You have these liberal elites, professional managerial class, who think the whole world is supposed to be run by whatever they think it should be run like. They sell their poor sisters on this feminist crap that's not working for them, and then tell them, no, 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 you're not getting married not because of the money, but because the men of your class aren't likable. You're not getting divorced to the men in your class not because of the money, because the men in your class aren't likable. They haven't developed a personality. They're too misogynistic. They're too patriarchal. It has nothing to do with the money and the status. Huh? Yeah, that's it. That was a great video from Average Man Unplugged. Because now now we're having a real conversation. Huh? And Vince is, I feel like a lot, not all, but a lot of women um suck at scalability in real life. No disrespect. They can't, bro, they can't. I don't know if that, I think that's a human thing, but because we're in the black manosphere and we're speaking about women, particularly black women, yeah, they can't scale that. They just thinking about them, but they don't appreciate. Yes, you are in a world where you are competing for these elite men that all of you want. Cool, right? And when what the and I don't mean this to be insulting, but what the losers of that competition say is, well, I lost to end up with him, and I'd rather not be his side chick. Well, fine then, I'll just be single. Because I'll be damned if I marry one of them. Ew, one of you bottom 80% men. Okay, fine, I'll marry you. I'll just divorce you within 5 to 10 years. Because once again, the money. Now, are these women necessarily going into those marriages in that bottom 80% saying they're going to get divorced? Probably not. Probably not. Right? Right? Probably. Huh? Thank you. And in last compassionate sin, well, they can't just say it's a plutocracy now. They got to make it sound reasonable. Right? See, if we get into the real nitty gritty, if we really start digging through the numbers tell you everything you need to know. Now, weirdos like Leisha Miller and Kim Foster, they're gonna over index on the. Well, the problem with the men is that the men are they're too misogynistic and they're too patriarchal and they're insecure about their money and they're the ones. It's not the women. They don't have nothing to do with the women. How the women think. Huh? You let women like that speak. No, it's not the women. It's the men. The men are insecure. And they try to pull the same stunt that white woman pulled on that morning news show. See, the black woman said I could do battle by myself. That white, if y'all noticed in the beginning of the conversation, what did that white woman do? Well, isn't this really seeing about the men and their insecurity? And both the white man and the black man checked her ass. No, 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 that's not what it's saying. This is speaking about the women. And then she tried to act dumb. What is this trying to say? It's trying to say the women want a paymaster, right? No, these women aren't. No, Z, you're wrong. These women, they just went to school and they worked hard and they're looking for men on their level or above. You mean hypergamy? You don't have to sound so rough about it, Z. You don't have to sound so crass. You mean hypergamy? It's a sort of mating, Z. It's equally yoked, Z. They worked so hard. They went to school. They rose in their career. Why should they have to settle for men that is beneath him? Men who don't earn as much as them, Z. The women said they're not doing 50-50. and God forbid you tell them to earn more than their man by 70-30. Oh, huh? So the music I have is Game and Biggie, right? Biggie, what's beef? What's money? The title, what's money? Huh? And if you check out the first link from Average Man Unplugged, Vince says she don't want to be saved. Don't save it, right? She want to be kept. Exactly. She don't want to be saved. She want to be kept. Exactly. Huh? What's money? Women said 50-50. That's no money. 50-50. That's no money. We're not doing that. And once again, these outlier women who are okay with this speak that like this is what women are okay with. No, you and your circle are okay with that, not women writ large. Absolutely not. Huh? Trail, you killing me right now. Trail with the 50-50. And Compassionate says the fact that the best they can come up with is that the bottom 80% of men are just unlikable. That's the scary part. At least Paul them veiled wealth consult Z, are you gonna get the word out? I'm not gonna get the word out right now. Consolidation. God damn, Z, there we go. Consolidation behind complex um centrifuge LOL. Okay, here's the thing. They're not necessarily framing it that way though. They're not saying the entire bottom 80% of men are not likable. That's not the way it's necessary. That is where they're going though. But that's not how they framing it. That is the message. The framing is a bit different. Once again, women are no longer dependent on men financially. So men now have to become likable, right? Men now have to develop a personality. You can't just walk through with the money and then that's what you walk in. Like you could be insufferable, mean, a-hole, misogynistic, sexist, and because women are reliant on men, they get passed from their father to their husband, and because they're reliant on men, they have to deal with insufferable, mean, sexist, misogynistic, maybe even physically, right? Man, that's how they're framing it. Now, once again, shout out to Dr. Green Gorilla. We know that both men and women exhibit virtue and vice. But that's not the framing. Compassion, you might want to clip this part. Once again, we know that both men and women exhibit virtue and vice. But that's not the framing. The framing is that men exhibit vice until they are civilized by women. Men exhibit vice until they are civilized by women and the society. Women exhibit virtue until they are jaded by men and the society. That's the framing. Men and women both exhibit virtue and vice, but that's not how society's been running over the past 50, 60 years with second wave feminism. The assumption is women are full of virtue, men are full of vice until the society civilizes men and until women civilize men, and women are full with virtue until the society and men jades women, breaks women. That's how this society is being. That is the dominant narrative. That's the word I should use. That's the dominant narrative in this society. And if you listen closely to how both men and women speak about men and women, that is, once again, women and girls are sugar and spice and everything nice, right? Because women and girls are full of virtue until society and men harm them and break them and jades them. Men are full of vice until the society and women correct them and civilize them, right? And what women, I'm tying this, all of this ties to that 50-50 conversation. What women are saying is, why would I contribute 50% of the finances when I'm going to go home and do the majority of the chores, if not all of the chores, and when I'm the one who bears the children? But women weren't speaking like that when the men were earning more. Now that women, 40% of women earn more than their male counterparts, now we're hearing this conversation because the women said, actually, we didn't mean the 50-50 thing. That's what our foremothers were saying. But now that we're here now, nope. Huh? It's beautiful that we're here now with this 50-50 conversation. As Anne-Marie Slaughter said, when you tell women that, hey, you want this kick-ass career, you want to rise up the ranks, well, your husband, your man, is going to probably have to take a backseat in his career. And what did Anne-Marie Slaughter say? And that's when women jump off the train. They don't think men like that are manly. This is not about men's perception of themselves and of women. And this is not about men playing into the patriarchy. This is about women. And what did and let's tie what Anne-Marie Slaughter is saying to what Professor Lou is saying. That's the Asian woman. I'm gonna get to it in a minute. I'm probably that expect that review in the next week or so. We're gonna be speaking about the professional managerial class. When Anne-Marie Slaughter says Brooklyn gives the lie to this, she's speaking about a particular, that once again, that professional managerial class. Those women who may be in the top 20, top 15% of women, and yeah, their man might be a creative. She's the stable one. She's making 150, 125, maybe a quarter million. Her man's making 200, maybe 125, maybe 90. And he's the creative, he's the artistic one. And she's okay with carrying the bulk of the income on her shoulders. And she speaks, if you speak to that woman, you meet her at some art gala. Somehow y'all start speaking about men and women and relationships and money. She's like, I earn more than my husband. I don't have a problem with that. I'm pretty sure women don't have a problem with that. The problem is these men are not likable. The problem is that these men are too patriarchal. They're the insecure ones. No, ma'am. Right? Exactly, Trell. It's first world and first person problems. But when you speak to those people, they can't conceptualize that, right? Exactly, compassionate. Compassion says, and they'll say it should be 100%, 100 to confuse the whole conversation. Yawn, right? And y'all give Z 1 second, y'all, right? And we're back. Um, this 50-50 conversation is good that we're here. As Trell said, it's true. This is first world problems. And as Compassionate said, we wouldn't be having this conversation if we had rolling blackouts. If we lived in a nation with rolling blackouts, this would not be a conversation. Huh? But especially when you live in these advanced economies, Mos Utopia Project, right? The quote unquote developed world, post industrial world, the women in these advanced societies, quote unquote advanced societies, are saying, yeah, about that. Yeah, so I don't want to do the 50-50 thing. I mean, literally, real talk, what Yanni told you, I want to be kept woman of leisure. What's the incentive to get married? What's the incentive? The entire bottom 80%, maybe 75% of women are saying the same thing. And you can see it by action. They're either not getting married or they're getting married and getting divorced within 5 to 10 years. White, black, Latina, maybe Asian or otherwise. Huh? 50-50? Nope. And it's not the men saying that. That's the women. But let Leisha Miller talk. The problem with these men is that they're not likable. These men are not likable. They haven't developed a personality. They're too conservative. They don't want to be partners. You're absolutely right. We don't want to be partners because you're asking us to be partners with women who are going to divorce us in 10 years for the money, but you're going to tell us this character flaw. Ain't that right, Leisha Miller? Leisha Miller, you're going to tell us it's because we weren't likable. We didn't develop a personality. Huh? And what's that divorce rate when men lose their job? How likely are their wives to divorce them or file for divorce within those 2 years? Uh-oh. Huh? Oh, I forgot, Leisure Miller. All of a sudden, his personality went to crap, huh? He's not likable anymore. It has nothing to do with the fact that he lost his job and he couldn't find a job like that or money like that in 2 years. Huh? Yeah, that's it. 50-50, everyone. Once again, let's go through some of the numbers. One more again, right? Median income by age. 25 years old, 40K. 35 years old, 53K. 45 years old, 55.6. 55 years old, 61.9, pretty much 62, right? 65 years old, 60K. Once again, that's median individual income, not household, individual income. And that's not whether it's a man or woman, that's just individual income, right? The top 25% don't tend to earn more than 100K until 55 years old. The top 25%. So if you're looking for someone, dear ladies, dear black women, if you're looking for someone that earns over 100,000, he's probably around 50, 55-ish. The top 10% don't don't tend, excuse me, to earn over 150,000 until 45 years old. So for all of you 28-year-olds saying you need somebody that earned more than $100,000, like 150, I guess you're 28. I guess you're perfectly okay with being in a relationship to or being married to a 45-year-old. Nothing wrong with that, right? For all of you that was on what's her name, Courtney Ryan's channel, and your age range was around you by 5-ish years. You 28 years old. You said, oh, I could go up to maybe 35, 37. Nope, you better go up to 45. And by the way, he's still not earning a quarter million. He's earning 150. Huh? Average household income $104 to $106,000. Median household income somewhere between $75,000 and $80,000 a year. Once again, that's about two people earning 37-ish to 40-ish thousand dollars a year. Two people. And that's household income. That could go up to 40. Excuse me, that could go up to four people. That could be four people earning 20. That household income doesn't necessarily mean only two people. Huh? Top 1% has 15 times the wealth of the median household in America. The top 1%. The top 20% control more wealth than the entire middle class. The top 20%. Huh? We have 161 million working people in the US, and the population of the US is anywhere between 335 million to 345 million. And you want to know why they're bringing in immigrants, right? Huh. 50-50. The women said we're not doing 50-50. We're doing 50-50. Huh. Median annual earnings for women, that's once again full-time work. That's full-time. Was $52,000-$53,000 a year. And that's all races of women combined. And that's full-time work. Women said, yeah, I'll take my 52 and do what I got to do with that. And whether it's struggle or not, but I ain't doing 50-50 if he doesn't earn 75,000. Uh-oh. And that's me settling. Yikes. Huh? Isn't that what the economically unattractive men are leading to a downturn in marriage article told us? They need a man that earns about 54% ish more than them. So it actually would be more than 75,000. If she's earning what 50, 52, 53,000, you got to earn closer to about 80,000. Huh? Wait a minute, Z. What is the new top 20% income again in the US? Isn't it about 130,000? Uh-oh. Isn't that also much of what the professional managerial class is at? Yikes. Wait a minute. Is that the mathing? I'm sorry, Leisure Miller. I'm sorry. You said those men are not likable. They don't have nothing to do with the money. Huh? And will you look at that? The top 20% of income earners in the United States make more than $130,000 a year. Huh? Yeah. Talk about class enemies. Huh? All Span says, not doing 50-50, but all on social media and at my job, crying at broke. Ooh, all Spans. Right? Lithium says crying in the car on TikToks. Huh? They're not doing 50-50, but they are all Spence job crying broke and all on social media crying broke. Right? Lithium said they all in their car. We seen those videos. We see, and you know who else seen them? Kim Foster. Huh? The single cat lady. Yeah, because the single cat ladies are single cat ladies because they said, I'll be damned if I do 50-50. Now, instead of me taking my $52,000-$53,000 a year and combining it with a man who earns $53,000 a year and making something happen, he don't earn at least close to 80. Can't do it. Huh? DeVito says they be looking depressed at my job. Huh? So they're looking depressed at DeVito's job. They're complaining at Allspan's job. As Lithium said, they're all on TikTok and on YouTube crying in their car. Huh? And Lithium's not the only one who said that. Kim Foster herself said that. Huh? Yeah. Huh? The real median household income in the US is around 75K, according to the Census Bureau. In order to be in the top 20% of income, you need to earn nearly double that amount, or an average of 130,005. Huh? And that's according to Yahoo Finance. Huh? Now, Mr. Z just did a little rough math, and what did we see? Top 20% is the ones that's most likely to get married and stay married. Let's keep going through this. If a woman is earning 52, 53, she already told you, according to economically unattractive men are leading to a downturn in marriage, you got to earn about 50-ish% more than her. That puts you about 75-ish, 80-ish thousand dollars a year to her 52, 53. That puts your household at around that 130. Now, when you look at that, that's the social math. That's what Kim Foster refused to cover. That's what Leisha Miller refuses to cover. Dear Financial Diet, there you go. T Noir, there you go. Nappy Head Hoba, there you go. Khadijah, there you go. FD Signifier, there you go. Huh? Foreign man in a foreign land. With your Nick cell calling everybody ass. There you go. Huh? These women don't want to go 50-50. Huh? And y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourself. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And we're back, right? So now that we're having a real conversation, because this is starting to scare society, right? Both on the left and on the right. Now they start to wait a minute. These people ain't getting married. Okay, cool, but they're not even having kids. We're not even getting the oops babies. The teenagers are not having kids like that no more. Ain't no the you know underage pregnancies, the teenage pregnancies. We're not getting that no more. We getting a trickle from that. The early 20-something-year-olds, they're not having kids. The men are barely having sex. The marriage rate has gone through the floor. We turned marriage into an elite institution. Some 40 some odd percent of people get married. Half of them get divorced. It's really the bottom half of them. Oops. So the top 40% get married, give or take a percent or two. And the top 20% are the ones who are more likely to stay married. Uh-oh. This ain't looking good. Feminism plus capitalism. Huh? Feminism plus neoliberal capitalism. Huh? And you wonder why the women won't go 50-50. That's the math. That is the math. Huh? Married men make about 60% more than single men. That's the math. Huh? That's the math. So to Average Man Unplugged, that was great. Shout out to Ed for covering it, right? And we realize it's not just a black woman thing, right? This is why so many men want to go passport bros. It's not just a kinder, nicer woman. It's a woman who has a different idea about money and life and status and doesn't necessarily want to give you her ass to kiss because you're not in the top 20% of men. Maybe not the top 10% of financially at least, right? Now the men that do passport bros tend to be in there. Well, once again, kinder, nicer, right? Women who may not have their bar for hypergamy to the moon. Fine, all women are hypergamous. Okay, accepted. But I'm gonna go overseas because this woman's bar of hypergamy is not to the moon. It don't start off at $250,000. Uh-oh. Huh? Huh? And I agree with this. And Lithium says you have to have 20% income to be a passport bro, right? Huh? The highest portion of single men in the US make a salary of 24,000 or under, right? Huh. Single females living alone earn an average of 50,000. Well, this was a couple of years ago. 50,270. while single males earn an average income of 61,860. Once again, this was a couple of years ago. Huh. Exactly, Trail. Trail says, if you're broke, then just say that. But the women said, nah, I don't want to go 50-50. I want my life subsidized, whether I earn good money or not. Uh-oh. Huh? What did that news anchor say before she sat down or while she was sitting down? I'm paraphrasing, but we work hard, we do this, we do that. And what's wrong with, a woman wanting a man on her level or above? Uh-oh. Hypergamy, dear Leisha Miller. Huh? Dear Kim Foster, Khadijah, T Noir, Nappy Head Hoba, Cat Black, a number of other women, white, black, Latina. Huh? Stop lying to the men to their faces. The women don't want to go 50-50. It's a whole lot of talk, right? And so what y'all saw was a number of clips. Shout out to Average Man Unplugged. And it was a black woman, she broke it down. If a man is going on dates, he spent $100 a date. Like, what did she say? How many dates did he go on? With 4 a week? That's $300. $400 a week. That's $1,200 a month. If it's $300 a week, that's a lot of money. That's. I think she said rent, but that's not rent. I don't know where she getting the rent from, but still, huh? That goes to what Vince was saying earlier. They're not scaling this. They don't care. The women don't care. Now they got to eat the consequences of not caring about men in their plights. They got to eat that because once again, they're not scaling it. They're not scaling it, and it's biting them in the ass. Then they're crying in their car because they refuse to be like, wait a minute. If I think like this, and a number of other women think like this, if I scale my thought to thousands, to tens of thousands, to hundreds of thousands, to potentially millions, and millions of men are running into millions of women that think like me, what does that mean about relationships and for relationships? They're not doing it. Mr. Z's doing it. That's why I call it the social math. If a number of women that earn $52,000, $53,000 a year said, I need a man for me, my hypergamy, I can't do it unless he earns 70, 75, 80. I can't, right? Unless we're a $130,000 household if we get married. Huh? I can't do it. Fine. Scale that, ladies. Do you understand now? Y'all are all fighting for the top 20% of men. Nothing wrong with that. We accept women's hypergamy over here. You're going to have to curtail it. But fine. For all of you 80 who don't get married to that top 20% of men, the top 25%, for all of you 75, 80, now what? I said top. For all of you bottom 80 and 75, we're just talking about money right now. Now what? Okay, another 15, maybe 20% of you do get married and file for divorce in 15 to 20 years. I said 15 to 20 years. Whew. Wrong, Z. 5 to 10 years. Huh? Another 15% of you, maybe 20, eventually do get married and file for divorce within 5 to 10 years. Claiming irreconcilable differences. Money. Huh? Huh. And Allspice is, unfortunately for them, your typical 100K brother, for example, doesn't date boss bees. So now what? Lithium says, I'll spend $100 on your birthday on a date. Not for early dates. Gotta be a sucker to do that. Lithium, I think I got a screenshot somewhere in my phone. Um, brother, there was like a map with all the cost of like dates, and man, it was women selling out in the comments. This was on Instagram, on IG. The women was who's going on a date when you do these many drinks? It's easily going to come up to $250. A couple of men are slowing down and pressing on the brakes. The women are straight capping. I don't know which one of y'all going on dates and y'all not spending $300. I don't know which one of y'all going on dates y'all not spending 150, at least 200. Huh? And let's be very clear. There are a couple of women. There are some women, they've been on one or two dates where a man did spend $300-400 on that first date or on that second date. There are a couple of women that experience that. She and Tone Talk spoke of this before. She don't count that she went on 10 dates with 10 different dudes and ain't nobody spent more than 80-90 bucks, $60. She don't count that. She don't count the date to Chili's where he spent $50. And she went out with 6 different dudes and ain't nobody spent more than $80. She don't count that. That doesn't count. It's that one dude that spent $200-300. That's what count. It's the same thing they do with body count, y'all. It's the same thing. I smashed this dude out of desperation. I ain't gonna count that. I smashed this dude. I was drunk. I'm not gonna count that. Huh? I was tight on the rent money. I let this dude. I let this dude smash for $400. I'm not gonna count that. So she ended up telling you I've only had sex with like 6 people. And it's really 18, 20, 50. 100. Huh? Huh? Rush is, it's the people dating those liars that aren't spending 300 on them, right? Huh? So this is what it really is. The women said, I'm not doing 50-50. Especially the bottom 75-80% of women financially said, I'm not doing 50-50. I refuse. Nothing wrong with that. Some of you will begrudgingly, and then you'll divorce your man. You'll get a kid or two and then divorce them. Huh? Marry just long enough for the second kid to start walking. Right? It's good Raj is here. That's why Raj say anything less than 10 years don't count. She just don't want to be embarrassed, so she get married to whatever dude was hanging around long enough. Get her 2 kids out the deal. The second one is in preschool, she gone. Divorce. Here comes Leisure Miller saying, the issue with him is he wasn't likable. He hadn't developed a personality. Yeah, that's it. Huh? Raj said there's some 304s in this house. Right? Huh. And Longo says selling out now. I know you from Florida, right? And Longo, yeah. To let's pause right here on the conversation. But to answer what you were saying earlier, man, it's been windy as absolute hell. I'm in the well. Wait a minute, technical difficulties. I'm in the southeast part of Florida. So yeah, Miami's in the southeast part of Florida. So we're not the hurricane is supposed to be hitting or the whatever the tropical. Well, it's supposed to be a category 3. It's supposed to be going towards Tampa. So I'm 300 and some odd miles away from Tampa, give or take. Um, and so we're just getting the outer bands of it, and it's still windy as hell. It is absolutely. It hasn't rained as much. When it does rain, it's kind of heavy, but it hasn't rained as much. But the wind, oh boy, any little loose light things, yeah, it's just taking everything, just throwing everything around. And remember, I'm a whole 300 some odd miles away from Tampa, and we still feeling the wind over here, right? Yeah, that wind is ridiculous. Palm fronds breaking all over the place, tree branches, leaves, little loose twigs all over the place, debris and trash all over the place, flipping over lightweight trash cans. Yeah, it's crazy. Welcome to Florida, right? Man. So if you anywhere in the Gulf area, if you anywhere Mississippi, Louisiana, um, right, not so much Georgia, but better you said he getting hit a little bit too, right? He said when they getting drenched, right? And better you said we getting all the flooding here where I'm at, right? So yeah. Raj selling us out. Okay, Raj, you in Chicago. Y'all due for a blizzard any day now. The winter's coming, literally for y'all. Okay, you watch the sellout. Raj says, and thank you for the super chat, Raj. Thank you for the super chat. And the Raj Report Live says hurricane tax, and he says hashtag my weather's great. All right, y'all are literally about a month away from wintertime. A couple months away from wintertime. All right, blizzards are blizzards are y'all best friend, right? I'll be damned if an Illinois Negro starts selling me out, right? It'd be cold and windy in Chicago, right? Oh, y'all probably getting the outer bands. And Outsped says, it's raining hard AF here in GA. Yeah, y'all probably getting the outer bands, right? Yeah. Huh? But yeah, it's windy. It's windy. Y'all know Mr. Z likes to record in the car. Mr. Z is in the car, and it is windy. I'm looking at the trees right now. Yep. Earth said, everybody got something to say about Cali, but we got the best weather. Earthquakes. we know that the hurricane is coming weeks out. Y'all just wake up to the land moving. Y'all wake up to the world shifting under your feet, literally. Y'all driving, minding y'all own business, and the road start moving. Wait, I thought the lane was here. Why is the lane over there? No, Earth. No, I can't be there. I can't go with y'all on that one. Right. Now, when I was in Cali, yes, it can be beautiful. You are absolutely right. Absolutely beautiful. Right. Absolutely. When I was in Cali, it was nice. It was nice. There was a little bit of rain, but it was nice. Nice. But looking at all those mountains, all those hills, I'm like, yeah, that's tectonic plates for your for your ass. That's what it does. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But what it took to make that beauty is a whole different conversation, right? Hell no. Y'all wake up to the to the ceiling fan shifting. Can y'all have chandeliers? Right? Oh man. And the builder's table says, um, desert dweller, hurricane tax paid. Hashtag my weather great too. Go Pete. What's going on? Go Professor. And let's pause right here. Y'all already know we got to go through it every time. Shout out to the Go Professor. The Go Professor was the first person to suggest Mr. Z start his channel, and here we are. Right? And shout out to the Go Professor once again. A few years later, and here we are. And shout out to the Go Professor. And thank you for the super chat, Go Professor. Thank you for the super chat. And he said, hashtag my weather here great too. Go P, where you at so I can sell you out? So I can talk crap about the weather. There's Raj over here. See, Raj hit me with another super chat. And Raj says, and thank you for the super chat, Raj. And Raj says, hashtag it's beautiful right now. And yeah, it's beautiful right now, but you're a couple of months away from icicles. Right? And ice patches that you slip on. Right? Telescope said don't sleep under heavy objects in California. Right? Earth said y'all think earthquakes happen every month. I don't think that. It's just jokes. Right? Oh man. Oh, you in Arizona. What did Arizona have? What's Arizona known for except for weird shaped white women? Huh? What is Arizona? I'm trying to think. What weather do we know about Arizona except for desert heat? Dry desert heat on top of that. I guess that is the sellout. I guess it is Arizona dry desert heat. St. Cyr says monsoons and ish in Arizona. Right? They ain't ready. And Trail says, wonder how those Venezuelans gonna feel when that hawk hits Chicago. They not ready for that cold. They're not ready for that cold. They're gonna be trying to duck behind Raj. Right? Telescope says Arizona, unbeatable heat, dry heat on top of that. Right? Right? And Gold P says, we get that heat, hence desert dweller. Well, I know, hey, prairie dogs and desert. That's what y'all got. Prairie dogs and desert. And KMS says, hurricane tax out of Houston. Hashtag glad ain't me though. Y'all be getting hit with the hurricanes too? And the floods. Or is that Dallas? Right. Oh man. Rod said Rod still killed me with this one. This is funny. It's beautiful right now. What hey, Raj, talk to me in January and February though. Whether the it's gonna start it should actually start getting cold what in the next month for y'all? The because it's fall, right? What it's fall pretty much. We're how many days away from fall? We're like 5, 6 days away from it starting to be fall, October. Then it's really gonna start getting cold for y'all in November. And everything November-ish to like what, March? It's just cold. Then April is spring and it starts all over again for y'all. It's April, May, June, summer starts, June, July. Then we back in September, and then October it starts to fall again. There you go. Right? And there you go. Trail says, fall started this Sunday, past Sunday, and there you go. So we're in fall. Right? We're 4 or 5 days into fall. I thought fall started in October. I didn't know it started like what, late September. Yeah. Better you said I'll take that Chicago, so that Illinois. Real talk though, I'll take that Chicago cold versus Georgia Heat. I don't know. Well, Georgia Heat is not Florida Heat, right? That's a whole different type of. Well, our heat is real. It's like there's been a couple of days. It's been like 100 and something with the humidity. So if you're outside for anything longer than like 2-3 minutes, your shirt will be drenched and you will be sweating. See, that's the difference between Arizona heat and Florida heat, especially South Florida heat. South Florida heat is with the humidity, and the humidity you're going to sweat a lot, right? T-shirt look like you just poured it into you just put the t-shirt in water, in a bucket of water. That's what it feel like, right? Right. I am. And Raj over here is selling me out. He says hashtag ninjas pre-hating, not heating, hating. I am. I am. And it's not really hate. I'm just telling you that I'm gonna be. Don't worry, Raj. I'm gonna be. I got my jokes ready. Once November hit, I got my jokes for you. And Charles says mid Atlantic heat is worse. That's because y'all don't got no air circulation. All them tall ass buildings and no insulation because all the buildings are old as crap. And once again, KMS, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat with the hashtag. It's glad it ain't me though. Hysterical, right? All them old ass buildings with no insulation. I was about to say installation. Insulation. Tall ass buildings, no wind until a hurricane come up there and kick y'all ass, right? Hysterical. And better use this. Nah, bro. That GA will have you drenched and it. Wait a minute. Comment moved on me. Nah, that GA will have you drenched and it feel like a fat man got you in a headlock. That's hysterical. Oh, here go. And Charles says most of the buildings are relatively new, so they have insulation. It's just that you have a combination of humidity and a waterfront. Good point. True. True. Florida got the most coastline in the country, right? Oh man, you got to turn this conversation to a weather. Now we're on the Weather Channel. Weather Channel brought to you by Z. Right. I'm gonna start a whole Weather Channel conversation, and once again, I got to read this one more time. And Ross says hashtag ninjas pre-hating, not heating, hating. Hysterical. Ross, talking about that pre-heating. You need to start pre-heating your home now for that goddamn Chicago winter. And Gold P says, here, take this money and go get you a raincoat. Hysterical. Not you too. Gold P selling me out. And he says, no Diddy. Gold P, hashtag hurricane coverage fund. I'm gonna need it. Messing around with this global warming, I promise you, I think one day we're gonna get hurricanes in December in Florida. I think so. Y'all heard it here first. I think we're gonna get hurricanes in December in Florida. Mess around. Late November, early December. I wouldn't be surprised. Because if the water is boiling, if the Atlantic is boiling all through October, November, I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting mid-November, late November, maybe even early December hurricanes. It may not hit land, but swirling in the Atlantic might hit the Caribbean. I wouldn't be surprised if the Caribbean and South Florida is getting in Key West and South Florida getting hit with hurricanes mid-November soon, late November. I wouldn't be surprised. Right? I will not be surprised. Cold Pete killed me. Hashtag hurricane coverage fund. I'm gonna need this for a raincoat, right? Charles says I'm not gonna speak on no person's state who has no basements. We have a few houses with basements, a few, right? Believe it or not. Yes, even in South Florida, even in Miami, there's a couple of houses with basements. What's the point? I don't know because yeah, like you're alluding to, Charles, that's a flooded basement waiting to happen. Wait a minute, what happened to New York when the hurricane went up there and kicked them in the ass a few years ago? Boy, them basements was looking like pools. I know New York is not Baltimore, but I'm just saying, I'm gonna just talk about the whole Northeast by saying New York. When New York and New Jersey got hit with that hurricane a few years ago, boy, them basements was looking like pools, right? Uh huh. Yeah, it was Sandy. Thank you, Trill. Sandy had what the train, the subway, and them houses, all anything dug deep. Pause. That's what she said. Anything dug deep was looking like pools. I think that's another that calls for another. That's what she said. That's another one. That's what she said, right? Charles said five houses don't count, right? That's crazy. Look, y'all over here selling me out. Florida weather, yeah, but it's been windy all day. I'm looking out the window right now, and there's the palm trees is just swaying in the wind, literally swaying in the wind. And we talk about the sturdy ones too, not the little twig looking ones. Charles said she said it, but not to you. Uh, right? Charles, winter's coming for y'all ass too. What am I saying? I ain't even gonna just sell out Illinois. No, winter's coming for y'all too in Maryland. Old man will be putting foot and feet all on y'all, feet and fist. Right? And Charles says, no basements in Memphis, too much water in the table. Yeah, the water table. Right. And this is what BGS was speaking about when he's talked about Mr. Z speaking extemporaneously and freestyling. I get it now. I get it now because Longo didn't switch this conversation into a goddamn Weather Channel conversation, and there we go. Oh, Charles sounded out the whole South right now. He ain't even just going in on Florida. He said, "Look at Georgia a few years back. That was the first time 3 inches ever did any damage." Hysterical. but that's funny. What did the Asian dude say on how high? 2 inches. Did he say two or did he say three? 2 inches of hard dick. That thing killed me. That was hysterical. Charles said that's the first time 3 inches ever did any damage. Oh, that's funny, Charles. That's hysterical. That's what she said. Shout out to Vince. That's what she said. 2 inches of hard dick. Oh man. Look, y'all done turned a serious conversation about 50-50 into sexual innuendos and Weather Channel. Either way. That's hysterical, Charles. That's a good one. I tell y'all, Charles be having them dope ass one liners. I think Charles and Trell should have a one liner off because Trell's funny. Trell is funny as hell. I think we might have to do a Tennessee versus Maryland, right? Memphis versus Baltimore, one liner off, if that even make any sense. Exactly. And Vince is support black media, black male media. I get what you're saying. Right. I think Cheryl challenge. Right? Because yeah, that that was funny. I gotta read it one more time. Look at Georgia a few years back. That was the first time 3 inches ever did any damage. That's hysterical. All right, y'all. Look, because BGS should be streaming about now, right? Because I think I saw the little notification. So Mr. Z is definitely gonna go listen in. Um, so we will pause right here. Um, love, peace, and chicken grease. Um, Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content like BGS, who should be streaming right now. Other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God, like my description box. Um, and I do want to do, and I'm actually also covering this continuing, and I should have said this earlier. I don't know why I forgot to say this. I'm actually kind of dovetailing on Roger's couple of streams over the past couple of days. Shout out to the Roger Report. Y'all check out his stream from today, which I haven't checked out myself yet, but based off the title, I get a good idea of what it is. And his stream from yesterday, and even maybe the day before. There's a theme that that Raj has on his channel over the past couple of days. So y'all definitely check out the Roger Report. Um, so yeah, this is kind of dovetailing off of that. Shout out to Edward Anderson, who also inspired this, and the Average Man Unplugged. So those three brothers. Um, and yeah, so we will pause right here. Truly, y'all, love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out BGS's channel, and other Manosphere content and non-Manosphere content. For the love of God, go touch grass. Shout out to FD Signifier. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out.